The Guy Fawkes mask has become a symbol for an entire generation of hacktivists. Active participants in the Arab Spring, fighters against the Pentagon, and just a group of remarkable people. Today, we will talk about the most underrated phenomenon of the 21st century internet, Anonymous. The history of Anonymous began on the forums of 4chan, an anonymous social community website founded in 2003. Even today, posts on 4chan from users who do not specify a username are marked as written by Anonymous. In the site's early days, users frequently organized group pranks known as raids, flooding chats in games and other online communities to cause disruptions. 4chan began cracking down on such raids after critics accused participants of cyberbullying and posting offensive content. The most notable early case of hacktivism occurred in 2008 when 4chan users, led by early anonymous hacker Greg Hausch, initiated a coordinated campaign against the Church of Scientology, employing tactics such as DDoS attacks on the organization's websites, prank phone calls, and faxing black pages to the church to waste printer ink. The cyber attacks, which Anonymous called Project Chanology, were retaliation for what hackers saw as an attempt at censorship. The organization had legally threatened Gawker after the media outlet published a leaked video of actor Tom Cruise enthusiastically discussing Scientology. Soon, a series of worldwide protests against Scientology followed. Many protesters supported Anonymous and wore black and white Guy Fawkes masks depicting the 17th century British rebel. These masks have since become closely associated with the hacker group. These raids formed the foundation of Anonymous's activities, a decentralized movement of like-minded individuals who communicated in encrypted chats, planning online disruptions. At first, these plans revolved around cheap thrills. Eventually, they became more socially or politically focused. One such goal was the 2010 publication of confidential communications between the U.S. State Department and various foreign officials. The whistleblower website WikiLeaks made these materials public, a video about which will soon be on our channel. This move sparked colossal controversy and was condemned by the U.S. government. In response, pressure was put on Amazon, PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard to stop providing services to WikiLeaks, effectively censoring the site, freezing assets, and hindering supporters from financially aiding the organization. Anonymous saw this as an attempt to censor the truth and suppress critics of federal and corporate structures. The hackers quickly launched an offensive, arming their activists with a program called Low Orbit Ion Cannon, which allowed for easy DDoS attacks without requiring technical or programming skills. In no time, PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard websites were taken down, causing significant losses, which PayPal recently estimated at around £3.5 million. After prolonged attacks, PayPal unlocked the funds withheld from WikiLeaks, though the account was not restored. Such aggression and publicity led to intensified efforts by the FBI, Interpol, and other law enforcement agencies to track down group members. It also marked the emergence of another hacktivist known as the Jester, who claimed to be a former U.S. military member and had previously attacked anti-American websites linked to the Taliban. Outraged by what they saw as WikiLeaks endangering the lives of our soldiers, the Jester began a series of DDoS attacks on the WikiLeaks website and also clashed with Anonymous. Then, during these tumultuous days, the movement experienced what many consider its finest hour. After WikiLeaks published diplomatic cables, the Tunisian government immediately blocked the website. Further investigation into the events in this North African country revealed instances of censorship, Facebook account hacks to alter anti-government statements, and tracking the identities of those who spoke out against the regime. Working alongside the hacktivist group Telecomics, Anonymous members took down several official sites and provided Tunisians with tools to bypass internet censorship. President Ben Ali's servers were also hacked, and the obtained information was passed on to WikiLeaks for publication. Ultimately, under pressure from online attacks, social media broadcasts about the actual situation in the country, and robust civil protests, the dictatorship fell. One anonymous participant, Homo Carnula, had this to say about the Tunisian uprising. There's a video where they thank us for participating, holding up the mask and saying we were the only ones on their side. For me, it was incredible to hear and feel that connection. This first chapter of the Arab Spring inspired Egyptians, who were also fighting to overthrow their dictatorship. In response, the government attempted to completely shut off internet access for the population to prevent people from using social media to organize protests and draw global attention to their struggle. Once again, Anonymous and Telecomics actively ensured footage of protesters clashing with aggressive government forces reached audiences outside the country. They also set up access points via modem internet connections, trained Egyptians to verify SSL keys and certificates to bypass restrictions, and launched their own DDoS attacks on government websites. Google also demonstrated its hacker roots by assisting Egyptians. It created the Speak to Tweet service, which allowed people to call specific numbers and share their stories, which were then posted on Twitter. When President Mubarak eventually stepped down, those who fought alongside the Egyptian people in the digital space knew that while their role wasn't key in toppling the regime, it was certainly significant. One of the most impressive aspects of Anonymous's activities is that it remains, as always, a non-structured community of hackers and activists who unite to fight against injustices, operate until the mission is completed, and then disperse again. They have no meetings, membership programs, or official agendas, which allows them to remain anonymous. There is a website in the form of a bulletin board where ideas for actions are posted, but that is the most centralized thing they have. This decentralization is their strength, but it can also be a problem, as it allows hackers to act under the anonymous name in ways that may be less justified than campaigns around the Arab Spring or WikiLeaks. In 2008, there was a notorious incident when some participants, feeling that Anonymous had become too severe and lost their sense of humor, hacked epilepsy forums and posted animated GIFs with black and white flashing lights, which could trigger seizures in those suffering from the condition. There were also groups within Anonymous that decided to act more destructively. In 2011, a splinter group called Lulzsec emerged, launching the so-called 50-day Lulz operation, hacking various sites for fun. Their targets included Sony, from which they stole thousands of customer account details, several gaming companies, and even the adult site prawn.com, from which they stole and published user data. They also attacked the websites of government organizations such as the CIA, the U.S. Senate, the U.K. quote, NIS National Health Service, and the Serious Organized Crime Agency, demonstrating their technical capabilities and pointing out security flaws in their targets. When the 50 days were over, the group declared their mission accomplished and announced their disbandment. The attacks stopped, and just as quickly as Lulzsec appeared, they vanished. At least until Hector Xavier Monsegur was caught by the FBI and revealed to be the infamous hacker Sabu, the leader of the group. His testimony led to the arrests of 5 more group members who were believed to number just 7 people. Of course, authorities weren't the only ones fighting them. On February 5, 2011, attention was drawn to the company HB Gary Federal after its representative Aaron Barr claimed he had infiltrated Anonymous and would reveal information about the group's members at a press conference. In response, Anonymous hacked the company's website using CMS vulnerabilities, which allowed them access to databases with usernames, passwords, and email addresses. Soon, all this information was made public, and the company that developed the CMS for HB Gary was fired. This incident demonstrated how hacktivists managed to maintain their anonymity and publicly humiliated their opponent. If you ever thought Anonymous was always on the side of justice, you should know about the Sony hack. In April 2011, one of the most well-known cybercrimes occurred, involving Sony's PlayStation Network, PSN hacking. Hackers gained access to the personal information of millions of users, including names, email addresses, logins, and passwords. Anonymous, a well-known group of activists and hackers, was accused of being involved in the incident, although their motives were unclear. It is believed that the reason for the attack was dissatisfaction with Sony's actions toward hackers and modifications. In particular, Sony had sued hacker George Hotz for hacking the PlayStation 3 console, which could have provoked protests from activists, including Anonymous. Some researchers believe that while Anonymous wasn't directly involved in the PSN hack, they may have supported actions against the company due to its policies. As a result of the attack, Sony was forced to suspend PSN operations, leading to the leak of user personal data and widespread public outcry. The incident served as a significant lesson in cybersecurity and led to the company improving its data protection systems. However, recent events in Ukraine have raised questions about Anonymous's so-called prowess. The group has recently faced severe challenges and criticism despite their famous attacks. At the beginning of the war in Ukraine, they conducted large-scale DDoS attacks on Russian media and government websites, including RT, TASS, and others. The attacks also affected significant companies such as Gazprom and Lukoil and government bodies, including the Pension Fund and Roskomnadzor. However, over time, Anonymous was criticized for its lack of effectiveness. One significant failure was the claim of hacking the Central Bank of Russia, where the published data turned out to be publicly available, leading to mockery and doubts about their ability to truly impact the situation. This decline in effectiveness has led some to believe that Anonymous's time has passed, and they are no longer the force they once were. As we can see, Anonymous has been involved in various high-profile incidents, from social justice and freedom of information actions to controversial hacks of government institutions and companies. Their motives and actions have always caused debate and mixed reactions, making them one of the most notorious phenomena in the internet world.